Hey everyone, to another weekly edition of our StaySmart Newsletter, brought to you by Viciniti Corporate Housing, where we try to keep you updated on what we see happening in the corporate housing, relocation, business travel, hospitality industry, anything that we see that we think might be relevant to you and to your company. So I'm back here in Kansas again, but I'm getting ready to jump on a plane to Dallas, Texas tomorrow. I'm going to the Global Business Travel Association's annual conference in Dallas. So I'll be reporting from that conference next week for this newsletter. And we really want to encourage questions and comments. So you guys have anything that you would like to see us talk about, please put them in the comment section, or you can message me. Definitely, we want this to be interactive and we want to answer any questions that you may have. So put comments in the section. If you can, hit the subscribe button. We want to keep you updated on what we see happening that we think might be relevant to you. So some good articles this week. We saw Jay Parsons over at RealPage. If you're not following him, Jay Parsons is a great follow, probably one of the best, most informative information resources that you can get out there in the multifamily, apartment industry, real estate. He'll keep you updated on that industry. So check him out. He's over at RealPage. Well, he put out information about July rent increases cooling. So we saw a less than 1% increase in rents in July in comparison to last year. A trend that we've been seeing all year as more supply comes online. It's just outpacing demand. Demand looked like it's doing well. It's just there's so much new supply. Again, this is very regional. We're seeing the Midwest and the Northeast continue to do well, where other parts of the country not doing so well because there's so much new supply coming online. And we think that this will continue to increase, more supply coming online throughout this year and into next year. So we may even see negative rent increases as we move forward. That's some good information. And I think this is really relevant because the inflation data came out last week, CPI, and almost 90% of that is made up, that CPI data is made up of shelter cost, housing, multifamily, rental industry. So I think this is really relevant because that's what's had been driving a lot of the inflation. And as again, if you follow Jay Parson, he talks about that lag in the data from housing that goes into CPI. So that's already kind of baked in. So definitely relevant into our industry and travel industry and the corporate housing industry, but it's also the overall economy. I think it's important to understand how shelter, multifamily, cost of housing, all that factors into inflation. So definitely check that out. Check out Jay Parson. The Highlands Group put out some good information about the extended stay hotel segment, continuing to outperform the overall hotel industry. And we've seen that throughout the year. And actually the hotel industry is doing great this year, but the extended stay segment's doing even better. So we saw in Q2, the extended stay hotel segment have a 3.2% increase in the RevPAR. Again, it's doing really well. Along with the corporate housing industry, that extended stay segment doing really well this year. And I think we'll continue, at least through this year, probably into next year, to see that industry do really well. The Washington Post had an article about the cost of airline tickets finally coming down. They've been really high earlier in the year, slowly coming down. And then we saw, according to Hopper, the last week of July, an 11% decrease in the cost of airline tickets. So finally seeing those coming down. I think if you're a budget-conscious traveler, it looks like September and October, there's some deals to be had. So hopefully we'll continue to see those airline tickets come down. GBTA, Global Business Travel Association, they had surveyed their travel buyers, and it's interesting to see that 55% of them felt like they didn't have buying power for hotels, and 39% of them struggling with airline pricing for when they're putting out for RFPs. So I think that's interesting when we're looking at the business travel segment and those travel buyers not feeling like they have a buying power that they may have had previously. So that's interesting to see. And then all over the news, we saw information about Zoom.com and their return to office policy. Obviously, Zoom was a huge company that took off during the pandemic. So it's a little bit ironic to see them forcing their employees to come back to the office. So their employees that live within a 50-mile radius of their office are required now to come into the office at least twice a week. So Zoom, like a lot of the other companies, escalating their return to office policy. Amazon, had this a couple weeks ago. We heard about them forcing some of their employees to relocate to be close enough to the office to come in at least a couple times a week. So I think this is important to, in particular, the relocation industry, is as we see more companies continue to push this return to office initiative, if it'll impact the relocation industry, as more people may need relocation policies. And then finally, there's just kind of a fun article, going.com. So formerly Scott's Cheap Travel, they've rebranded, and they have a giveaway for free airline tickets. So if you go to their Instagram page, you can sign up and you maybe win some free airline tickets. So it's kind of a fun little thing that they think might be relevant to you, for free airline tickets. Who doesn't like that? So check that out. So that's the articles that we have this week. But again, we really want to hear from you. We want to hear questions, comments, things that you would like to see us talk about in this podcast. So like I said, next week we're going to be at the GBTA conference. We'll be talking next week a lot about business travel, hotels, airlines, those things that we'll be talking about. So if that's interesting to you, let us know. If there's another topic that you would like us to talk about, please let us know that also. If there's another location that you would like us to report from, somebody you would like us to include to do an interview or ask questions about, please let us know. We're looking for questions and comments. And again, if you could hit that subscribe button, that'd be great. So everyone, take care. That's what I see transitioning this week. Take care.